So, understanding attention across screens in Facebook. Well, how Facebook has applied their artificial intelligence algorithm to understand the attention across screens, which when you are using advertising with Facebook is a very important aspect. And this was written by the Facebook team on October the 24th, 2018, which says that you should learn when and why people in the UK, or actually when people anywhere, I don't know why they're saying this must be a UK page, are switching their attention between TV and mobile, and the types of content these multi-screeners are consuming. So of course I myself, sometimes when I'm working on my mobile or working on my laptop, I'll put the TV on and watch something in the background, and I'll switch between two, and I'll also use three iPhones and two iPads and a Mac Mini and a MacBook and a Lenovo Yoga Windows machine and an iPhone 10 to work with. So I really do multitask on multiple devices, which is proof of this. I just have to stop to let my dog in, who's calling at the door. Come on then. There you go. And so, to continue, I'm sorry about that, but real life is real life, and sometimes your dog wants to come in when you're in the middle of a screencast. So, people multitask every day across various aspects of their lives, which all of us know. Everybody's multitasking all the time, and it's part of how human consciousness is changing. And I believe that also has to do with how human consciousness is evolving. That our multitasking is actually causing the force of evolution to evolve our brains to the point where we can think of multiple things at the same time quite easily, which for me is very easy to imagine because I suffer ADHD. And for somebody who doesn't know what attention deficit hyperactivity disorder is, it's basically like having 100 ideas entering your brain simultaneously in the same moment. And by the time you'd got one of them out or finished, 100 more would have arrived. And because of this, you cannot prioritize which of those you are going to do first. And you end up sidetracking and multitasking all day. So multitasking is something that people with ADHD do all the time. So I understand that very well. People multitask every day in various aspects of their lives. I mean, we scratch our nose while we're talking, that's multitasking. But how we multitask with our consciousness and our attention when we are reading and watching, or listening and reading an article and listening to something, you might notice that you listen to it and hear important things, but that you miss half of it, and you go back and listen to it again and again, and until you actually switch off whatever you're reading and listen to the podcast or listen to the talk or whatever, you don't get everything. And it's the same with watching a movie. But we do multitask, and we do absorb information from more than one source at the same time. So these are my insights with these basic explanations given by Facebook. So engaging in multitasking in real life and in the internet and how we do things carries over to how people engage with their content across devices. So because we multitask in nature, we know that people multi-screen regularly. Well, I wouldn't say my girlfriend multi-screens. She doesn't even full screen. She likes to have her browser consuming about 70% of her screen, because it's too wide when it's on the full screen for her. but she will have her iPad by the side of her and watch YouTube while she's working on the MacBook. So she's multi-screening, even though they're not two screens on the same computer. She's not just multi-screening, she's multi-devicing. Yeah, and I'm multi-platforming. I'm really multi. I mean, yesterday I managed to register with about the 5 major game streaming networks like Twitch and so on, and then register with their affiliated game developer companies who are already connected to their streaming content through PlayStation 4, through a computer, a PC or a Mac, whether you're using Steam or a PCXE PlayStation emulator on your computer, or using Xbox or Microsoft games or a PC game, you can stream it all, and people actually make money out of it and make a profession out of it. And so I'm playing a lot of games with my son, and I've seen people, couples team up to make their channel and make a lot of money, or decent amounts of money, just having fun gaming all day and streaming and making their channel, which you then your streams automatically upload to YouTube and Twitch and so on, which is also a very good way. And you don't just have to do it for gaming. You could do it to make videos to promote your products if you wanted. Anyway, I'm digressing. We're going back to what Facebook says about people multitasking, and how much does this behavior differ across age groups and even through various parts of the day, and when they divert their attention to a second screen, what are people looking at? So that just shows you how the Facebook algorithm is actually spying on what you're doing. When you change screen, when you move your cursor from one screen to the other, they know that you're looking at the other screen, and they know what content is open on that screen. So just for security reasons, I would recommend you use a thing called Tor browser, but they'll still, if you're logged in, they'll still keep your information. This is the problem, even if you use a VPS or a private VPS, a personal server or whatever. Once you log into Google, the cookies they keep and the information they keep is not kept on a cookie on your computer, it's kept within their database, and so you can't stop them from collecting that data, which can be used for good or bad, can't it? So anyway, this informational page, Facebook is obviously showing interested in when people divert their attention to a second screen, what are people looking at? I think with advertising, I still don't see how this really is relevant, but we shall continue to investigate Facebook's way of thinking. Having a better understanding of how people divert their attention across mobile and TV can help media planners. So a media planner is a new profession, one of these new professions that are popping up. A media planner can reach people more effectively with their campaigns. So in my case, I'm the media planner because I do all the jobs myself and I make my own ads. I very rarely make ads, but sometimes I do, to experiment just how well the Facebook ad algorithm is working and how deceptive or accurate it is. So I do experiments with it, which I've actually just done an ad, and I should have made a screencast of it, and the next time I do, I will, because I'd like to explain a lot of things about targeting ads, because I'm one of those people who found ad targeting and especially in Google AdSense, extremely complex, and gave up for a decade or more. And I'm glad I've waited, because I didn't need it. It's a waste of money anyway. But if you know how to do it properly, if you're expert at it, then it is effective. But you have to be expert at it. They're telling everybody on Facebook to boost their posts and make ads, but people don't have enough knowledge to be able to efficiently set up the ad so that it targets the right viewers. And so the way Facebook is collecting the data here, both disgust me, but I also see the usefulness for it for advertising, for advertisers, although I hate being advertised to. But if I'm making an ad for my own business, then I look at it from the opposite perspective. And so you have to see both perspectives. My problem is that most corporations and companies are what polite people, or they say politically correct people, call pragmatic. Which for me, pragmatic means being able to make business decisions without having to let ethics bother you about it at all, without having to worry about human ethics. So basically it means having no ethics, being pragmatic. And I have a problem because I'm not pragmatic at all. I know what I hate, and when I target my customers, I don't target them with things that they'll hate, like newsletters they never subscribed to or never wanted to, or hassle people about their abandoned shopping baskets in my shop, because I'm getting constant emails from Amazon or whoever, eBay and whatsoever, say, hey, you left this in your basket for a week now, have you forgotten to buy it? And no, I didn't actually, I just left it there because I couldn't be bothered and couldn't decide, and I thought, well, I'll look at it if I go back one day. But they don't understand that actually these kind of emails are more of a hassle to people, although they do get silly old grannies to click on them and buy, and it does work on the stats, but they're not looking at all the stats. They're looking at the stats of how much extra sales they've made, but they're not looking at the stats of how many customers have actually left Amazon because of those, or how many unsubscribes they had, and how many people were dissatisfied and won't buy again, even though they made more sales in that month after hassling people with the abandoned basket automated email for all customers who left things in their basket and then just didn't finish the checkout. Stats can be deceptive. So advertising is really not very transparent in the moment. Facebook is getting better, but it's not there yet. It's really not worth advertising. And there are ways to advertise for free just as well on Facebook and YouTube and so on, which I'm going to get into. Excuse me, I needed some water to speak. So we're looking to see who is multi-screening. So Facebook, you've been looking to see who's multi-screening on our computers. You've been spying. But of course that's in the rules of acceptance, isn't it? We found that the strongest demographic influence on multi-screening behavior is age. Well, you think you found that? Because actually people who aren't on Facebook, who are multi-screening doing their work, yeah, or might be on Google or some other network and multi-screening, yeah, might not be between 18 to 34 years old. So this is specific to Facebook. Shit, that sounds good. Facebook, yeah, Facebook might be good, like MySpace and Facebook, Spacebook. Shit, does that exist? Spacebook.com. So 18 to 34-year-olds are more likely to switch between screens. Well, I'm 54 and I've used up to 5 or 6 screens in one go, and I use 6 to 7 devices in one go. So 18 to 34-year-olds are more likely to switch between screens. I wouldn't say that. I would say 18 to 34-year-olds are more likely to stay on one screen and switch once in a while, unless they're working on a computer. I mean, are they talking about mobile or computer? I mean, they must be talking about a computer. And when we're looking at 86% of people who are buying things online and looking at Facebook and stuff online are actually not are using mobile phones, and then about 16% are using, I don't know, 15, 6, something around there, using PC, and the rest are using tablets, which is 6 or 7%, because tablets are hardly being used anymore. Actually, they are, in a way, because I'm scrolling. I'm not sure if you can see the dark dot on the screen I'm leaving here now. If I make a tap with my mouse, you can see I'm selecting with my mouse, but this is also a touch screen, yeah. And so I can fold this Lenovo Yoga from a laptop into a tablet. And so it's actually a tablet, and I use it as a tablet sometimes for viewing and just content consumption, but not content creation unless it's drawing and artwork with the pen. Otherwise I will use it as a laptop with the trackpad in laptop mode. So Facebook is not registering this device as or Google or anybody who's stats collecting about how many people are using tablets to view websites, and whether it's more worth it to advertise on mobile platforms than on desktop platforms. It's actually erroneous, because the statistic that says 6 or 7% or 8% of people are using tablets is, we're talking about Android and iOS tablets like iPads and Samsung Galaxies and God knows what. But if we look at the Windows 10 touchscreen experience with stuff like the HP 360, Hewlett Packard, and the Lenovo Yoga, which is completely foldable into a tablet, and stuff like the Microsoft Surface Pro, they're fully desktop experiences with desktop operating systems, and they're going to register with any bot or any artificial intelligence device recognition algorithm when you arrive in a browser or even in the app. Because on this Windows PC I actually have Facebook the app, and right now I'm in Facebook the browser, using a Firefox Portable, by the way, which I keep on an external disk, not a USB, a 4TB disk, and I have a load of political program files, and I use a lot of portable apps like Chrome Portable, Firefox Portable, and so on, because it saves me installing them on my computer, and it doesn't need things in the registry and God knows what, and you can take it and plug it into somebody else's computer and use your own browser with your own passwords without leaving anything on their computer, and take it home with you. So it's very good. I'm using the portable version of Firefox in the moment to look at this. So back to multi-screening after my insights and digressions. We found that the strongest is 18 to 34 year olds, which I don't agree with, but anyway. Whoever's more likely to switch between screens, Facebook think is more difficult to reach on TV and less likely to be paying attention when ads are on TV. People 55 and over under-index on overall multi-screening behavior and are the least likely to be represented in the heavy multi-screening category. Actually, I know a lot of people in their 50s to 60 who multi-screen a lot, who are actually running businesses and multi-screening a lot. My neighbour does it. He's playing on his computer and he has another screen with a closed circuit TV with 12 cameras on it, and he's answering the phone and he's making companies and I don't know what, so he's multitasking as well. The problem is they're looking at who's looking at ads. So they're using a thing called IPA touchpoints data. This is one of their artificial algorithm features which collects what they call IPA touchpoints data they can see that, so the code which collects this data allows them to see that social apps are the top mobile category for multi-screeners across reach, time spent and average number of sessions. Now, first of all, you would have to study what, as a person who does not know what they mean. Reach, time spent and average number of sessions. Now, reach is a word that very few people understand, including myself, and is very deceptively used by marketeers who show stats. Advertising being one of the biggest scams and biggest money-making scams for the last few years, which has only lately entered one of its depressions since Facebook got into trouble in the Senate and Google, YouTube had problems with their advertising, with people pulling out after they were selling video ads to individuals, not just reputable companies, and checking on the content, and their scanning security artificial intelligence algorithms are just not yet able to scan the content that's being uploaded to Facebook and YouTube and stuff. I mean, they're blocking innocent content and banning and allowing dangerous content through all the time, which is something I have a lot to say about in another podcast. I really do. And so the top mobile apps of multi-screeners. This is one of those stats graphs which I hate, because you can make it's like a zebra crossing. You can use maths to make black into white if you want, and you can show stats and omit, meaning leaving out other stats which influence those stats and would change those stats, and deceive the people you're showing the stats to by selling what you want and not revealing what you don't want them to know, which would lessen their faith in those stats. Stats are being used and abused in this way by advertising companies and people who sell their products on PowerPoint shows in front of a long table in front of a load of CEOs to sell their ideas for decades. And I'm going to take a little pause now before I continue this very deep and difficult podcast for those who are wishing to understand the internet and how Facebook works and how Facebook thinks, how right or wrong they are, what they're right about, what they're wrong about, learn how to advertise, and find out about places in Facebook you've never heard about and things you can do with Facebook you've never heard about. And I'll take a little pause now and we'll continue this and after a moment, once I have had a little rest. And so, here we are again. I don't know how to hide the recording toolbar, I'm afraid. So I'll show you that. I'm using Active Presenter, by the way, which is a free version, allows you to export as video. And you can use a webcam if you want. So, anyway, I'll show you that another day. I just can't remember how to hide this anymore. Maybe like this. There you go. Don't show this message again. We're digressing again, but this is Active Presenter, what I'm making the screencast with. So there you go. The top mobile apps of multi-screeners. And they don't show you which mobile app is which. Is there any? No. Nothing. So here's a load of lines that shows you nothing, which is an example which would show you stats if you were them looking at them. So what are the usage patterns of mobile compared to TV throughout the day? For TV viewing, Primetime is still king. Who says? Who says that? Who says for TV viewing, Primetime is still king? But for digital devices and streaming services, viewing can happen at any time. IPA touchpoints data shows that mobile usage stays relatively even throughout the waking hours for all mobile users. Well, why is that? Have you ever thought about that, Facebook? The TV viewing, what they're looking at is Facebook will be looking at the TV viewing from certain countries like America and the UK and European countries, but they won't be getting access to countries that have just allowed Apple TV. For example, in Thailand, I just switched from my American Apple account to Thailand Apple account, effectively losing 360 TV shows because the Apple TV in Thailand doesn't have TV shows, and about 300 movies, so probably $10,000 worth of media by changing countries. So I'd watch out if you're with an Apple ID and have bought lots of media and are going to change to a country like Thailand, because half of the media that you had will disappear and you'll have to buy it again. Anyway, another digression. This is the internet and the Wild West of the internet, and the world of the Wild West, and of companies who abuse the internet, but of sovereign individuals like me who have freed themselves and allowed themselves to stay at home diddling about, doing what they want on a computer, of course, which luckily I love to do, I love to use. I've been fascinated with computers ever since I picked one up. I broke the first one I ever had by clicking on properties and trying to change everything and see what this did and that did. And I broke about the next two I had over a few months until I decided to take it slowly and learn each thing at a time. I'm 25 years into it now, and can do just about anything I want and solve just about anything I want. From this Windows computer, I can look on my Mac and drag files from my Mac to my Windows computer without the use of any software and stuff like that. I can de-hack 15 websites in about 20 minutes and so on, and make databases for websites, make websites, write about 6 kinds of different code. And I taught myself that at 43 years old, when I decided that tattooing was coming to its end as a profession for me. And here I am now webmastering and giving insights about this, what I've been reading about advertising and artificial intelligence data collection and stats of Facebook, how Facebook thinks, and how to advertise properly on Facebook. First of all, you have to realize how well Facebook thinks. It's going to influence how well Facebook places your ads, and then how well you program them is going to influence how well Facebook is going to serve them. But Facebook's assumptions are going to influence them still badly, and not be as accurate as you would like, unless you do some of the things I show you when creating an ad in Facebook. And if you are mainstream, it's going to be a lot more harder. If you are niche, it's going to be a lot more easy. Anyway, that's how to sell things and market things and advertise freely without spending a penny online, and using social networks like Facebook is something that's coming very soon to show you how to really get your products out to tens of thousands of people with half an hour's work or something. and also how to make if you have an e-commerce store, how to make it work properly and sell, because lots of people make them and it doesn't sell. And advertising with Facebook isn't the way. But once you're making lots of money with your shop, then maybe wasting a bit of money on advertising and slowly learning can help. It can help in the sense that you might I once spent $150 to advertise within 5 kilometers of people of my tattoo shop, and I got one customer and he did a $50 tattoo, so I lost $100 on the investment. Another one was where I made an advert for people who are interested in a certain product which I sell, who are most of a certain ethnicity, and so I looked for people of that ethnicity in a rich country, in one of the richest, and found out what the richest area of that country was where people of that ethnicity lived, and served ads just to that area. And I spent about $200, and the truth is, from the 600 checkout carts Facebook said they took people to, I never made a single sale except one. But that customer turned out to be a customer who spends $1,000 to $2,000 every month since years, and has been doing so since years. And so that $200 investment was worth it to get one customer who spends good money with you every month. So it's a matter of perspective, and it's a matter of niche, and it's a matter of targeting, and it's a matter of luck as well, because I might not have got that customer. It might have just been that customer might not have seen it, because the truth is, in the end, it's down to luck. It's down to luck if the right person in the right mood at the right time sees the ad, not if the ad is served to somebody what the artificial intelligence says this person likes this. Because on Facebook people go liking everything, and Facebook thinks that that's something they can advertise to you just because you liked it. But somebody might have said something about let's say child abuse, and because there's not a thumbs down, there's only the like button, people will like somebody's share of something disgusting and then express their disgust about it, but it's not something they want to see or be advertised to about. But Facebook will take it like that. So back to screens. They say that mobile usage stays relatively even. Why does it stay even when TV viewing primetime is still king? I would say primetime viewing is not still king, because it's only king in America and England, where people watch TV when they go home. But in Thailand, people don't watch TV when they go home. They play on their mobile devices, and the times, what Facebook classes at the time of day, I don't know if they geolocate the time and look at what time it is in the country, or if they just look at their own American time or GMT time and see at which single GMT time how many people are using mobile and how many people are watching TV. And how do they know that people are watching TV? Because how are they getting the data for the TV viewing? How do they know that? Because Facebook isn't on TV. It's on Android TV, but they don't have enough data about that to know that TV viewing primetime is still king. And to be quite honest, I watch Netflix and Amazon Prime through my apps, through Apple TV and through iPad and iPhone, which is mobile. And so even if primetime is still king, advertising, I don't get advertising on Netflix, I pay for it, and I don't get advertising on Amazon, I pay for it, so there's no advertising on it anyway. So what's the point in even worrying about that? That's not a place you can advertise. There's no point in worrying about places you can't go. So, comparing the steady usage patterns of mobile to the primetime peak of TV screens, there is an opportunity for marketers and media planners to reach people more efficiently outside of primetime TV viewing hours. So if you can find out when the primetime TV viewing hours are, first of all, you have to know where most of your customers are. So I can look at that and see how many customers I have in this country and how many customers I have in that country, right? And so I know my American customers at this time in America, or this time in Thailand, 24 hours ahead or whatever, or 12 hours ahead, sorry. If it's midnight here, it's 12 midday in America, something like that. But if prime time is at 5 to 11 p.m., yeah, and then 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. is internet time, or internet time is when during the day. I would say most people come home. Most people don't watch TV anymore. They come home, put their computer on, or stay on their mobile. If they watch TV, it's because they've got a mobile, so they're watching TV and pissing about on their mobile. A lot of people do that. I know you do. So do I. So, I mean, the fact is, if you're going to click on an advert, you're an idiot anyway. Because what I do is, if I see an advert for something and I'm interested in, I'll open a new tab and I'll go look for it myself without clicking anybody's affiliate link, because I'm an old meanie and I don't want to give them the stats of the click. I don't want them to know that actually that advert did get me interested and did make me go buy something, but they will never know. I'm not giving them that data, because there are new laws coming out in the future that this data collection they do is your data, and it's very, very useful to them, and they should pay you for it, and you shouldn't give it to them for free. So you should do everything you avoid to give it to them for free. So marketeers, Pharisees, pay to enter the temple. I advertise myself, but my ethics, my heart always feels those things. Like when Jesus wrecked the marketplace because everybody was overcharging each other and full of greed and lying to each other. He couldn't take it, and I can't take how these tutorials about advertising and the methods you can use to market are, a lot of them, so unethical, and that I believe in that the evolution of society, this is anthropology, or the evolution of human society and ethics and the internet and of marketing and business ethics, not just the evolution of mankind itself, but with using the brain for multitasking will cause our brain to develop new abilities. It's all affected. And to teach us to accept certain practices as completely acceptable and ethical, which are actually deceptive and not kind to each other. They're just aimed at selling something without caring about whether you need it, or it's just about getting you on the hook. And it's based on greed and ignorance. And there's nothing wrong with advertising, but you should advertise to the people who really need it, not just try and sell. And I think if you do, you will succeed. I've always succeeded through honesty and through stating what I am, who I am, where I am, and how I think. And some people like it, some people don't, and that's great, because those who don't, I don't want them as customers or as followers, and those who do, I do want them as customers and followers, and I won't serve to anybody who is in antimony with me, but I will respect their opinion. because it's all views, and my views are very, very unorthodox. So our studies show, that's a link there, which I'm tempted to click on, but we're going to stay here. To reach people out of primetime TV viewing hours. Well, you know the amount of time I'd spend to know that and write it down so that I know which ad to serve to which country at which time. That's what you need. That's what knowing this would help you to do. To say, okay, in the Philippines, at this time, people are on the internet, on mobile devices, and on the devices on Facebook and stuff, more than they are watching TV at this particular time. So you make an ad, a specific ad, to serve to them at that time. And for the Americans who have a different prime time and a different time when they're not watching TV, you make a different ad and serve it at those times, which would take you a hell of a lot of, what have I done? Which would take you a hell of a lot. That's that Facebook pixel. You see, this is a Facebook pixel. You need a Facebook pixel, which I had made for WooCommerce for my site, thailand-amulet.com, to create ads with. You could create an ad, like this. But you need a Facebook pixel on your ad. That particular site uses an e-commerce solution called WooCommerce, which is free, completely free, and it allows me to sell my stuff around the world without paying a penny, except for my hosting for the website, but not for the WooCommerce plugin. And this is the Facebook page from the website. So this is to make an ad. You could get more website purchases. You could change this to the store. There's a name for our store, which is all-amulets. Take them directly to the storefront, and then you would go again here, say where they're living, so I would say Singapore, let's say Hong Kong, Kowloon, because that's where rich people live. Hong Kong. And then I would say, let's say, for example, Anaheim. And then I would open a new tab and write richest areas of San Francisco. So I would do here. I would do it, let's say, Nob Hill. And I would also do something like Asian areas. Asian, because I sell amulets which are Buddhist, and most Asians so I wouldn't do that. I would go back and find a page that has a list, which I did already just before this. And so I would specifically advertise to the richest areas where there are the people who are interested in my product, and geolocate it. And as to viewing hours, from sharing things at certain times of the day to Facebook and seeing what sales I made when, I have always noticed that for me, the people who buy things, they always buy things when I'm in Thailand. I shared at anything from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. will get me a lot of attention, which would mean it would be something like 5 p.m. to about midnight in the UK, and in the UK, which is where I get a lot of response from, and in America also, but that's because they're also late. They will be 12 hours behind, so it'll be like 3 p.m. to 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. But I get a lot of response from America, so from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. I seem to have probably more people, as many people from America as I do from Asia. So I think it comes from experience of sharing stuff. I share to groups and to pages and to specific groups which are specialized for that specific product I sell, and share them, and have my own different pages. I actually find that sharing something to one of my pages gets more reactions and more views than sharing to a group, because groups get so big and you have so many different groups for the same thing that it's so scattered, and by the time one person has seen it and liked it, 5 other people have posted and you've been buried. You're down at the bottom of the ocean, just like your own wall, your own newsfeed. Every time you make a new post, you bury the one before it. Yeah, your new updates. Whereas on your page, you can post something and leave it there, and I can leave it there until 100 people have seen it, or 2,000 people have seen it. Yeah, and even had 17,000 people seen it. Whereas on a group, you might see one person see it or 3 people see it. Even and the bigger the group, the less chance, because the more you'll have just posted and somebody else will post something on top of it. So it's actually better to post to a group that has perhaps less members, but they're interested, but they have less other marketeers posting. So your post will remain there for longer, and people who arrive today, tomorrow, or the next day will still see it. So I believe that sharing to smaller groups, it's better to get that one good customer by sharing to a smaller group that has more chance of them seeing you, than to not get any customers by wasting hours sharing to groups with hundreds of thousands of members, but who aren't going to see it because by the time you've posted it, somebody else has posted on top of it. Additional mobile time spent during an average work week is also generated during the day, lunchtime 12 to 2 p.m. When, in what country? And early afternoon 3 to 5 p.m. when TV reach among this audience is low. People are at work, but they're doing it. So, which is why I said America seems at 3 to 5 p.m. I seem to be getting those people by sharing very late at night in Thailand. But these graphs are just ridiculous. They mean nothing to me. What mobile content diverts people's attention from the TV? Well, I would say Facebook, you don't know. You have stats that tell you something, but they don't really tell you everything. Multi-screening behavior during an average day follows the same pattern as traditional TV viewing, peaking at night during primetime TV viewing hours. Well, I always aim for people at night, because in the daytime people are at work, and sometimes early in the morning, because either people have just got up or they've just got home from partying, they're drunk and they want to spend some money, and they might just press the buy button. Sounds mean, but it's true. So I always aim for people at night, and that's it. But these graphs, Multi-screening occurs from 7 to 9 p.m. With who? With who? In which country? Where have you made your... Have you taken this worldwide? You know, there's not enough data here for me to know who you're talking about. Are you talking about everybody around the world, or just Americans, or just Westerners? Or in what time zone? So just knowing that people are multi-screening doesn't necessarily give marketers the information they need to understand if people are seeing their ads. You don't need to understand this information at all to know if people are seeing your ads. Yeah? What you need to do is ask the customer when he buys something how he found you. Yeah? To be quite honest, I'm not sure if I've ever sold anything that came from somebody clicking on an ad, except for the tattoo I mentioned, but I don't know. Usually on my PayPal, when I receive my money, it says, where did you come from? And most people answer Google, which is where I say about 85% of my traffic comes from. And so for 2,000 people that come from Google, I might get 6 people that come from Facebook, but I might spend 5 times much more time and create much more content on Facebook than I do on Google, which is something I might be changing soon, because Facebook seems to be changing a lot, as does YouTube, as far as advertising goes. That less people are advertising, they're accepting less kind of adverts, they're scared about dangerous content, unsuitable content. They're not ready yet with family content sharing and family sharing. They're developing all of these platforms are developing family sharing and child accounts and how to control the content and limit it, but it's just still so open to dangers. That's another thing I need to make a screencast about, and I'd have to change tabs to show so many examples. So where are they when they're looking when the TV is on? I mean, these stats, you know, all this is not going to help you make an ad at all. What I do know is that when I go to sleep, when I wake up, that's usually when I've made a sale. So I will have made a sale sometime between 12 p.m. Thailand time and 9 a.m. Thailand time, which is 7 hours ahead of Europe. So 5 p.m. in Europe, or 12 a.m. in America, to about 10 p.m. in America. So for about 10 hours, about 8 hours. So I just know it happens overnight. During the day I don't make sales, I don't hear sales coming, and I'm 7 hours ahead of Europe in Thailand. Multi-screeners are defined as people who spend at least 30 minutes over their average working week using the mobile device. Well, I must spend about 16 hours a day using my mobile device, and using all 6 or 7. TV simultaneously, I might spend about an hour or so, two watching, and then when I stop looking at the internet and using my mobile, I might just fall asleep in front of it and let it roll for a couple of hours. Heavy multi-screeners. So I'm a super heavy multi-screener, because they use more than 10 hours over the average working week. But my working week is the internet. I have to do, it's my job. Next in advertising insights, stay in the know. Get timely insights from Facebook IQ delivered to your inbox. No thank you. So basically, understanding attention across screens, the only thing it tells me is to know when people are on the internet and when they're in the mood for buying things, and when people are shopping online, when people are not consuming. And basically, on or off Facebook, some people are shopping for certain things. What you need to do is, if they're looking for your things, you need to find the people who are looking for your things and advertise to them, and find a way of making sure that your advert goes to them and only such people, not to other people. And the advertising software, algorithms and control panels and features of even Facebook itself, which has one of the most advanced advertising systems within its interface of all conglomerates anywhere, of all websites anywhere, is still pretty primitive. It's still just, stats are highly overrated. Stats are like sex and life. They're highly overrated. So, you know, where I came from here was about a Facebook IQ study. Yeah, was about understanding attention across screens. This is about the UK, you see. This is only about the UK. This is not worldwide. So wherever you are in the world, yeah, this information is not valid beyond a certain point. It's useful to read, it's useful to think about how useful and how useless it is, how much time you need to spend on it, and if not just adding 5 more products to your store and sharing them to some groups and sharing them around and marketing them by email to your customers and by WhatsApp and whatever, might not be better spent than by trying to figure out how to make an advert and spend some money instead of make some by selling something. Buy something instead of selling something, namely an advert, by trying to understand their attention across screens. I just think somebody who wants something, they're thinking you're trying to advertise to catch somebody who doesn't want it, never thought about it, but will see it and buy it. That's a certain niche that I don't want to get into, and I don't want to teach about, because I know nothing about it. I don't do it. Well, I do know about it, but I don't do it. It's unethical. What I want to do is the people who are really looking for what I've got and really can't find it and will be so happy to find it when they find me, that they can find me. And so what I need to know is, the most important thing I need to know is not how to advertise. The most important thing I need to know is that how do the people who are looking for the things I have spell those things, and what long tail means, instead of a one-word search, a whole phrase or a paragraph or a whole sentence, which is very long and has a lot of keywords in it. Yeah. And there's ways to make people find that. So if you know how people are asking, how people are searching for things in their search engines, then that's how you should title, and those are the words you should put in your descriptions of your blog posts, your pages, or your products. And Google will bring them to you, and so will the other search engines. But this kind of data is possibly useful to millionaire companies like Amazon, who will be using this data to serve ads. But I think there's a lot of randomness to it, and I think a lot of, I think I've never made money from doing ads, but I'll keep having a try once again. I just made an ad on Facebook, and I'll keep having a try. Yeah, I will keep having a try. Until then, yeah, I won't do this ad. I will cancel it. Cancel the ad. because if I go to the ad center, this is not this is part of Facebook. Yeah, this is a business manager, and you can't share to your page anymore when you do that. When you become a business manager of your page, you can't use the share buttons to share to your page, which is a shame. So this was an ad I just made. This is a post which they're trying to make into an ad by telling me it's performing better than 95% of other posts, which they always tell you that it's performing this much percent more. Well, if it is, I don't need an ad, do it? It's performing well already. I've already reached 218 people. Why the heck should I pay? Because the $10 profit I'm going to make on that, yeah, is less than what I'm going to have to pay to make the ad. And I only have, I believe, one or two of them. And it will cost me $30 to maybe, and still not bring me somebody to buy it. So why should I spend $30 to risk selling two things that will bring me a total profit of $20? It's not worth it. If I was selling a Ferrari car that was going to bring me $50,000 profit, then yeah, it'd be worth it, wouldn't it? So it depends on the context. But if you're selling stuff that have a low profit margin, then it's really not worth risking spending a part of what would be your profit on advertising it. I mean, it's a scam, is advertising, but I always wanted to find out how to crack it and if it could be cracked, and sometimes I waste a bit of money to do it, yeah. So how do we see this one? How do we see the results? I spent $1.5 to get those. I will spend up to $10 a day or something, and I'm targeting men ages 18 to 65 plus who live in 36 locations and have 14 interests, yeah. So these are all the places: Hong Kong, Castle Peak, Newtown, Tuen Mun District, Wan Chai, Red Hill Peninsula, Hong Kong, Macau, Marina Way, Singapore, Arcadia in Beverly Hills, Cerritos, Monterey, Mission Hills, Portuguese Bend, yeah, a lot of Avalon, Fremont, California, Cameron Hills, New York, Monterey Park. Here's a lot of Asian people between 18 and 65. I should change that to 30 to 60 maybe. And these are their interests. And we'll run for 7 days. No website purchases made by the pixel on your website, yeah. And I've spent $1.5 already. 143 people who saw this ad in the promotion. $1.5 spent already for nothing. And how much value what they bought on my website will be. These stats, I've never seen them to be accurate yet, because I've never made a sale, but I've spent money. The website conversions, link clicks, product view. So we've had one product view only. Yeah, this is how the desktop news feed looks. So the mobile news feed looks. Instagram feed would look like. I haven't turned it on because I'm only doing Facebook. I'm not doing Instagram. I'm not doing mobile marketplaces or Facebook stories. I'm not doing it. I'm just doing Facebook, because I know putting it on Instagram will make the money go away very quickly, and it's not going to work. I've done that before. That's not worth doing. If you don't believe me, try it. try making the same ad with Instagram included and the same ad again without, and see which one performs better. So that was it really. Multi-screening and what Facebook are trying to combining TV and Facebook has a multiplier effect that can increase your ROI, lower costs and drive more brand value. Oh, this sounds so good. It's just such a sales pitch. All of which help your marketing dollars work harder. All of which make your marketing dollars go into their bank. Planning effective video campaigns across screens. You see, when people watch TV, there's a YouTube app in the Android TV or in an internet TV like my Sony Bravia. And do ads show? Yes, they do. But video ads are right under perusal in the moment. So this is, I would recommend next time, maybe if you're interested. This is maybe an interesting page. It's probably full of bullshit, but it's something that I'll make another screencast on this page afterwards. And I think I've said a lot about nothing, but I hope that some of it has spurred some thinking and made you consider the whole concept of advertising and how to market your products and how to succeed and become a sovereign individual on the internet. And sovereign individual does not mean these crazy people in America who pull out a gun and shoot a policeman or just do what they want without considering the feelings of other people or the beliefs of other people and stuff. That's not a sovereign individual. A sovereign individual is somebody who stays at home, doesn't pay tax and makes lots of money doing whatever he wants and doing what he likes, and is nobody's fool and is not pending to anybody and completely independent and free to travel or stay where he wants and is only self-dependent. That is a sovereign individual who respects his own life and that of others. I'll explain the sovereign individuality another day. So this is a Jan Spencer for my Webmaster channel, once again with a very unorthodox talk and screencast, signing off.